First at 5, a weather alert this morning. We're waking up to below freezing temperatures here in the Mile High City, and we saw more snow overnight. Lisa's tracking the storm in the 24/7 Weather Center.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. We do have a good wave of snow moving now across eastern Colorado. It moved through Denver overnight, but now it's pushing well off to the east of I-25. Mitch continues our team coverage with a live look outside.
That's right. Right now, we're keeping a keen eye on those CDOT cameras out there. You can see some of the snow blowing across the I-70 alignment east camera. We're hearing reports of some snowpack, some slick roads in a few places. So we've got Dale Cedars out on the road to try to find some of those tough spots for you so you can avoid them. Here she is now. Hi, Dale.
Hi, good morning, Mitch. We're live in Westminster, and as you'll notice, there's still just a few flurries coming down, really not amounting to much at all. The roadways are wet, although not snow-packed at all. We really didn't get all that extra snow overnight. The big thing you're going to notice this morning are those temperatures. It is freezing cold out here, well below freezing. So definitely, as you're heading out the door, if you're sending those kids to the school bus this morning, make sure you plan ahead, bundle them up very nicely. You're going to notice there's definitely snow on the grassy areas and on the trees, so it really does make for a beautiful kind of winter-like scene. However, it is really cold. Reporting live in Westminster, Dale Cedars, 7 News.
All right, thanks so much, Dale. We do have still quite a bit of snow in spots, but in Denver, it moved through overnight. I want to take you back to yesterday afternoon at 5 o'clock. That's when the snow started to fall here in Denver. We picked up about a ½ inch to an inch in the metro area, quite a bit more near Fort Collins and Greeley. And right now along 76, you can still see pretty active radar scene, where from Brighton along 76 toward Fort Morgan, we're still dealing with some snow. Really, that main band of snow now moving well off to the east of the I-25 corridor. So in Denver, Jason's going to show you, we really just have wet roads, and in some spots, things already drying up. So we were definitely on the lower end of some of those snowfall totals here in the metro area. Snow will continue to push east, and over the next few hours, we're gradually going to get more clearing. Looking at temperatures, though, this morning in the 20s, wind chills in the teens. You might find a few flurries early on by noon. Partly cloudy and chilly 35. More sunshine this afternoon with our highs in the upper 30s. Not a big warm-up today. Our warm-up really doesn't hit until this weekend and early next week. So up and down the Front Range today, Jason, you're going to find highs in the upper 30s, low 40s, well below normal for this time of year.
And because it was so much colder yesterday than it was the day before when we got the snow, we're seeing more ice on some of those bridges, ramps, and overpasses, especially to the north. As Lisa was talking about, these north end communities have a lot more snow than we have down here in Metro Denver. So I-25, 287, Highway 85, really slick, especially north of 34. And here's some of the pictures we get from Fort Collins. Look at Harmony and Timberline, some of the snow that remains there. Fort Collins is saying most of their their priority streets are wet at this point. The secondary and neighborhood streets are going to be next, and they have most of those covered still with some snow. Look at the I-76 corridor with some of the snowpack that we've had out there with the blowing snow. And then this is I-25 up there right around Wellington, and we again have the snow-packed roads on that I-25 corridor. Here in town, take a look at I-25 right near Broadway. Some of those icy areas are still going to be abounding, but look at the dry areas we also have on some of the concrete. Concrete, asphalt, a little bit different. You're going to find some more wet than others, but again, a lot of ice out there this morning.
All right, Jason, thank you. So we'll continue to check in here in the traffic center with Jason. He's got updates for you all morning. We also want to go out to 7 News reporter Eric Lufer. He's in Storm Tracker 7. He's up north. That's where we seem to be seeing the most snow. Eric, how are things looking there?
Hey, good morning, Mitch. I've actually just came upon the first accident that I've noticed this morning, and it's not pretty. I just passed the 144th exit. Conditions are getting worse as we come northbound, and you might have a hard time seeing it, but it's actually in the southbound lanes. Let me go ahead and clear off the windshield here. You can see some flashing lights here on the left. I've already made a trip around all of this. There's a car just smashed in. The top is just completely gone. I'm passing the accident right now as we go past. They're just about, it looks like, to tow this car away, but they've got 2 lanes closed off right here just before the 144th exit going southbound. So this is going to be an issue unless they can get it cleared away sooner than later. Right now it's not causing too much of a backup because traffic isn't too bad right now, but it is not a good accident. I'm going to turn around, try to get some video for you to show you just how bad it was. Looks like it was just 1 car involved. No word on injuries, but again, this is on just before 144th on southbound I-25. Here's a sign coming up right now saying road icy, use slower speeds. Conditions are getting worse the further north I go, and I've now seen a pretty nasty accident. So I'll keep you up to date. Back to you.
Talk to you soon, Eric. At 5:05, new developments in justice for Jessica. Arvada police now want to question the suspect, Austin Sigg, to see if he's connected to 2 attempted abductions there. 7 News reporter Lindsay Sablon is outside Sigg's home, where police are still searching. So, Lindsay, fill us in.
Anna, Arvada police do want to talk to Austin Sigg about 2 separate incidents that happened in September where elementary-aged children say that a man tried to get them into his car. Meanwhile, a judge has issued a gag order in the Jessica Ridgway case, and it is day 3 now where police are out here blocking the road in front of the Sigg family home. But we don't see near as much investigators out here this morning. Now, I want you to take a look at this sketch. It's coming from the Arvada Police Department. Side by side, Sigg's mugshot has a resemblance. This drawn after a girl gave officers a description of a man that she says tried to lure him into his car with candy. That was one of 2 incidents in September, one outside of Fitzmorris Elementary, the other near Quaker Acres Park. Both cases, the man offered an 8- and 9-year-old candy from his car. Both times those children ran away. The detective on those cases now wants to talk with Sigg.
I think it would be very unusual if you've got somebody in custody who engage in that type of behavior that we would just automatically exclude them without having some type of a communication with them.
Now, the one thing that is not lining up in these cases is the suspect's car description. This is Sigg's car. Westminster police have already towed away. In the Arvada case, the suspect's car is described as a royal blue sedan. Still, police do want to talk with Sigg just because of the proximity and time and location in the Jessica Ridgway murder and those incidents back in September. Live in Westminster, Lindsay Sablon, 7 News.
Thank you, Lindsay. Now, sources tell our Call 7 investigators that Austin Sigg was one of 500 people who voluntarily submitted DNA to investigators. So that means even if he had not turned himself in, he most likely would have been caught when the DNA samples were processed, connecting him directly to the Jessica Ridgway case. We also heard from Arapahoe Community College confirming that Austin Sigg was taking classes there. Officials say he enrolled in August of 2012 for 11 credit hours. And while they don't say what classes he was taking, they do say Sigg did not have enough credit hours to apply for the mortuary science program.
A news alert this morning at 5:07. The Taliban now claiming responsibility for yet another insider attack against American troops. They claim they killed 2 American service members in Afghanistan. Here's the part of this release that catches our eye. 2 U.S. forces, Afghan service members, died after an individual wearing an Afghan National Police uniform turns their weapon on him. Now, a U.S. spokeswoman in Afghanistan said the authorities still trying to figure out whether the attacker was really a member of the Afghan security force or perhaps an insurgent just wearing a government uniform. But again, 2 U.S. forces killed. This was the 2nd suspected insider attack in just 2 days. And new this morning, a last-minute technical glitch, forcing South Korea to postpone its 3rd attempted launch of a satellite into space. You can see it here getting ready for the go to launch pad. These are the preps for the launch earlier this week. Engineers found a gas leak in the link between the 2-stage rocket and the launch pad. Not good. This happened just hours before today's scheduled liftoff. This is the 3rd failed attempt. Officials say it's going to take at least another 3 days to give it another go.
7 News investigating the Aurora Theater shooting. Now the judge in the James Holmes case is ordering more information be released to the public after 7 News and other news organizations fought for more transparency. The judge ruled all victims and witness names will be released to the public. He already released some of them. You may recall when Holmes was initially charged with 142 counts, the names of those victims were released. But since then, he's been charged with 24 more counts, and those victims' names were blacked out. The judge also releasing Dr. Lynn Fenton's client summary about James Holmes. When she took the stand in late August, she was questioned extensively about that. But when the court released that document last month, it was completely blacked out. Well, now it will be unredacted. The judge is still keeping the affidavits and the search warrants sealed.
Let's check Democracy 2012 for you this morning. The presidential election hits a fundraising milestone. The campaign passed the $2 billion mark. That eye-popping figure puts the election on track to be the costliest contest ever. Mitt Romney and his Republican allies have raised nearly $112 million in October. President Obama's campaign brought in about $20 million less since the start of the month. And we have a look at where the candidates are going to be campaigning today. This morning, presidential candidate Mitt Romney, he's going to speak to voters in Iowa. Running mate Paul Ryan, he'll do the same. He's in Huntsville, Alabama. Then later in the day, the two will attend a rally together at a high school in Ohio. President Obama, he's back in the nation's capital. He'll be in D.C. there. He's actually doing an interview for, it's called Ask Obama Live. It's a special that's going to air today on MTV. Meanwhile, Vice President Joe Biden is going to speak at the University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, before he heads to the University of Wisconsin, Parkside. Just a normal campaign day.
Indeed. Well, the University of Denver is now quantifying how much attention it got from hosting the first presidential debate. Publicity on the day of the event was estimated to be worth more than $36 million. DU also says it saw a total of over 1 million views on its Facebook posts the day Romney and Obama faced off, and that's even more traffic than both the websites for both parties get combined on an average day.
Happening today, another court appearance for this man, George Zimmerman. He has been charged with second-degree murder, as you know, in the death of Trayvon Martin. The prosecution expected to request the judge impose a gag order in this case. All along, Zimmerman has admitted to shooting Martin, but it says it was an act of self-defense. The trial date, it's scheduled for June 10th of next year.
A jury convicts this man, 23-year-old Drayton Mares, of murdering a trainer for the Harlem Globetrotters. Weld County prosecutors say Mares shot 42-year-old Thomas Bashline in the back of the head, then stole his car last year. Bashline's girlfriend found his body. Mares' defense claimed he fired his gun in the heat of passion. Denver police have a man behind bars accused of stabbing a woman to death. Police found the woman inside her southeast apartment yesterday. She later died at a nearby hospital. Officers arrested Mike Burnett in connection to the stabbing death. The victim's name has not been released. Time now is 5:11. Ooh, the temperatures seem to be only dropping.
It's cold. We have single digits and teens on it in the mountains. Across the plains, 20s. Here's a look at the recent snow, our radar shot. You can see near Fort Morgan, stretching up northeast towards Sterling. That's where the snow is heading. It's moving out of Denver, but when will the warm air return? We'll talk about it coming up.
And I've been looking at some of the cameras out to the eastern plains, including along the I-70 and I-76 corridors. Blowing, drifting conditions out there with the snow that continues to fall. Very tough out to the eastern plains right now.
Welcome back, 5:15. We're keeping an eye on DIA for you this morning. So far, no reports of delays or cancellations caused by the snow. The airlines are de-icing all the planes. That doesn't expect to slow down operations, though. Snow removal crews are out plowing. They're treating Pena Boulevard, other roadways as necessary, so you can see the cars moving along the bottom. If you're getting to the airport today, you should be in good shape.
I saw a road crew out when I was driving in along Spear Boulevard this morning, so that's good to see. At least they're helping to make sure it's not too icy out there.
We use these storms as little practice runs, right? Get us ready for the big ones.
Yeah, really.
They're coming. Don't worry. There's more to come.
We know it.
Just starting. Yeah, not much. We had a good ½ inch to about an inch in the metro area with the second round of snow, so it put some of our totals right around 2 to 4 inches within that 48-hour period. Right now, radar really clearing up in and around Denver. You have to head east to find some of the falling snow right now. You can see really a line from Greeley stretching all the way south and east toward Lamar, also east toward Lyman and Burlington. That's where the main focus of the system is right now, and it will continue to shift east as the morning goes on. So we might pick up a few flurries here in Denver, but that's pretty much it. Gorgeous shot in Boulder. Look at Pearl Street. Just beautiful. You're waking up to this. Some snow-covered trees, roads that are mainly just wet, and things will continue to dry out as the morning goes on. I'll show you a futurecast from 7 o'clock this morning to noon. Again, skies clearing. We'll get a little more sunshine through the lunchtime hour. Things will break up a bit like they did yesterday, and then by this afternoon and evening, should be looking at really just partly cloudy skies. Here's what it looks like by 7 o'clock tonight. At that point, this will be a distant memory. We're looking at temperatures right now in the 20s. Denver 27, Boulder 28, and Fort Collins right now 25. It's a cold start to the day. Tomorrow morning, even colder. If you're in the high country this morning or heading there this weekend, we have teens. Right now, Estes Park, you're at 14. Same story in Conifer, 14 degrees to start the day. By this afternoon, mid to upper 30s. Denver calling for 38, Fort Collins and Greeley a little closer to the 40-degree mark, Aurora 38. So still a lot of cold air coming in. Winds are going to shift direction this weekend, and we have warmer temperatures starting tomorrow. In the mountains, you'll find 30s and 40s mainly. Leadville, always a pretty cold spot. The coldest usually on our map, coming in at 29 degrees this afternoon. Tomorrow, low 50s. Sunshine returns. It's going to be chilly for our Coats for Colorado drive, but a good reminder that everybody needs a coat, so please join us tomorrow. 52 degrees on Saturday. Sunday, we're closer to 60. It's warmer, a little cloud cover. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 60s, 70s. Halloween, Jason, where did my ghost go? I had a ghost on there. It's going to be 70.
He disappeared.
I guess that's what they do
But the
best.
good thing is that the costumes are not going to disappear. We'll be able to see the kids in their costumes.
That'll be good. That was nice.
It is nice. We have a pretty good drive overall. Some areas that are dry. This is Colfax and Perry, just on the west side of Federal. And you can see some areas are dry and some areas are still going to be wet and icy. And I've seen a few little flakes falling down here just on the west side of town, but very light flurries, if that. Again, wet on the highways with some drying areas. You can see I-25 here. Some of the lanes are drying out a little bit, but still pretty wet and very slick on the bridges, ramps, and overpasses. Take a look at the map. The one accident we have is up to the north side on that I-25 corridor. It's actually southbound right near 144th Avenue, so we're seeing some slowing there. And you can see along Highway 36 there at Foothills some slick conditions. I-70 at Colfax, again, those bridges, ramps, overpasses are going to be very treacherous, and down to the south actually looking okay, including C-470, I-25, and 225.
Good to hear it. Thank you, Jason. It's 5:18 now, and today, Microsoft's much-anticipated new operating system, it's called A Beautiful Start. It's going on sale, and ABC's Paula Ferris has a look in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, after weeks of speculation, Windows 8 finally goes on sale. The new operating system is a radical departure for Microsoft, with tiles replacing the iconic Start button on the home screen. ABC News tech editor Joanna Stern gives high marks to the new multitasking features.
You can swipe in new apps from the left-hand side, so it's really easy to just bounce between apps. You can also lock them side by side, so you can read your email on the right side and surf the web on the left side.
Nice. And move over high definition. The first ultra high definition TV went on sale Thursday in the U.S. The LG set boasts 8 million pixels, 4 times what's in standard HD TVs. And this new smartphone can make you feel like James Bond. The Sony Xperia TL features a 4.7-inch HD screen, a 13 megapixel camera, and it's featured in the new 007 film Skyfall. It goes on sale next week. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Paula Ferris. Have a great day.
5:20 and happening now. Residents along the East Coast being told to get ready for Hurricane Sandy. You can see why here on the radar. That heavy rain as it brushes along Florida there. She's headed right up north after pounding Cuba overnight. Why forecasters say this could be the perfect storm when we come back. 5:22. Take a look at the satellite radar of Hurricane Sandy heading north now after slamming Cuba, killing at least 11 people. So residents along the East Coast are being told, get ready for this thing. A reoccurring drill this time of year.
Tie my trash cans together and make sure there's nothing loose in the yard that's going to float away.
Some forecasters say that Hurricane Sandy could be like the perfect storm that hit 21 years ago when a nor'easter and Hurricane Grace back then combined into one powerful storm. It would combine with the storm that's hitting us right now.
7 News on fire alert this morning, and people in southern Colorado now allowed back into their homes after 2 days of mandatory evacuations for the Wetmore fire. Officials lifted the order yesterday, allowing nearly 400 people back in to inspect some of the damage. This fire's already burned 2,100 acres and destroyed 14 homes. The fire is about 65% contained right now. You got to think the nice cooler weather with a little bit of snow, rain in different areas have helped those firefighters. And I know, Dale, you have our neighborhood forecast this morning. Where are you taking us?
We are going to start right here in Westminster, where I am right now, and it is definitely cold. As you head out the door, bundle up those kids for that school bus and grab your warm jacket to get in that car, because you're going to need it until the car warms up. Things this morning, go ahead and look at our planner to help you plan your day. It is going to be 23 degrees by 8 a.m. That is just freezing cold. By lunchtime, we're going to warm up just a little bit, about 36 degrees. What you'll notice today compared to yesterday is we're actually going to see just a little bit more sunshine, which will be a nice little break for us. By 5 o'clock, though, as you're heading home for that commute, it's still going to be cold, and our roads are wet, so there are going to be some icy spots in some locations. This is the system that moved through last night, though, dropping just a little bit of snow through the overnight hours, as you can see, and now pushing off to the east. Let's head back inside to Lisa. She's got the rest of your forecast.
20s, 30s. We have wind chills right now, Dale, that are well below that, well below freezing. Denver looking at a high today of 38, Thornton 41, Erie 41, and in Broomfield 39 degrees. So it's still going to be cold today, but again, like Dale said, a little more sunshine will help. This weekend, warmer air on the way. Saturday, still chilly. We're still below normal, 52 degrees, but warmer. On Sunday, 60. And then you'll see those overnight lows are going to bump back up close to 40 by Tuesday. Monday, 65. Tuesday, 70. And on Wednesday, Jason, Halloween,
Halloween.
Perfect news for moms and dads out there.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
And the kiddos, 70 and sunshine.
Exactly. We'll be able to see the costumes. We have if you're driving up through Westminster on Highway 36, you can see here from Pecos, and they're going to do a little tour on some of the other cameras. You can see that it's basically wet. Some drying out there here and there, but for the most part, wet and very slick on the bridges, ramps, and overpasses, especially getting out to the west, farther west, all the way up into Broomfield and Boulder. It's going to be really tough. So again, we're going to have to watch some of these areas. The one accident we've had, southbound I-25 up near 144th Avenue. Look to the eastern plains, blowing and drifting snow out there. And again, it's going to be kind of, I'd say, a touch slower than average for our morning drive today.
Okay, thank you, Jason. 5:25, and right now, we're looking at a live picture from Westminster. It's gorgeous there with all the snow on the tree. If you're getting ready to leave the house, bundle up, leave a little early. It's cold, and in some spots, the roads are a little tricky. Most places are fine, but some, you know, you'll hit the ice. We're live to help you maneuver through that commute this morning.
And also, Arvada police now wanting to question accused killer Austin Sigg in 2 attempted kidnappings there. And we'll let you know what's happening at Sigg's house today.
We're live outside the home of Austin Sigg, where police are blocking the road yet again today. Arvada police now wanting to talk to him about 2 previous abductions, attempted abductions. Those details in 60 seconds.
After that dramatic pause, happening now at 5:29, take a look at the radar there. You see that blue section there? Lots of snow falling in places. That dark blue is, of course, the hardest hit. We got team coverage for you this morning. Dale Cedars, Eric Lufer, both out checking the conditions for you on the streets. And Lisa Hidalgo and Jason Luber here tracking the storm and the roads. So first, Dale is joining us from Westminster. Dale, looks like the northern part of the state probably got the hardest hit.
They definitely got a little bit more snow than some of the areas across the metro area. However, right now, the snow is really almost started to stop. It was tapering off starting earlier this morning, and right now we're seeing just a few flurries falling. If you look at the grassy areas behind me, though, you will notice you can still see a little bit of that snow on the ground. Obviously, the trees still covered. It makes just a beautiful winter condition. The roadways, they are wet, however. We're not necessarily dealing with the snowpack, but you are going to want to take it slow because there's definitely going to be some icy spots. Now,
Eric there?
Eric Lufer, we have sent 7 News reporter Eric Lufer out and about for about the 2nd day in a row now. He's going to check all the roadways for us in just a little bit. But first, let's head back inside to Lisa. She's got the rest of our forecast. And Lisa, I love the fact the 7-day actually has a few 70s coming up.
It does, but not until next week. It's still going to be a slow warm-up. This morning, most of our snow has pushed well off to the east of I-25. Might still see a few flurries early this morning, but you're going to see most of it. That good band of snow moving now east. Greeley, Lyman, and Burlington all now picking up some snow. So along I-70, you're going to find gusty winds and, again, some snow. Most of the heavier accumulations were right across northeastern Colorado, about 1 to 3 inches of snow. Denver picked up overnight about a ½ inch to an inch. A beautiful look in Boulder this morning. Pearl Street mainly just wet. A lot of those pretty leaves on the ground. We lost a lot of leaves with these 2 rounds of snow, and it looks like this weekend temperatures are going to stay pretty cold, at least to start. Current wind chills in the teens. Denver, it feels like 15, feels like 4 below in Leadville and 22 in Boulder. A cold start to the day, not a huge warm up. You're going to find 30s this afternoon. By noon, partly cloudy, 35. A little more sunshine this afternoon, Jason. That'll help to dry up the roads. They're again in Denver, mainly just wet.
Yeah, it was nice to see the dry roads yesterday afternoon, and then turned to wet after the snow started moving in again yesterday after the at the late part of the commute, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. And you can see how the roads are basically wet at this point, at least here in downtown. Some of the areas, this is an asphalt cover, and then you'll find the white areas, the concrete pavement, that look a little bit more dry for us. An accident just been reported northbound 25 near I-70, but not seeing any slowdowns because of it yet. There is an accident farther north. You can see on the map, it's near 144th Avenue and I-25 on the southbound side. Had a couple lanes blocked, but not seeing any big delays there. Really to the north is where we've had most of the snow issues and the icing issues. You can see up here in Fort Collins, Harmony and Timberline, they're saying that most of the first the primary streets are going to be wet at this point. I-25 going to be icy and snow covered in some areas all the way up to Wyoming, as well as 287 and Highway 85. This is the I-76 corridor out near Wiggins, and you can see there's snow cover, especially on the bridges, ramps, and overpasses, and back here across the south side of town. That looks actually okay for us. Back to the live cameras out east. Oof, there's that blowing and drifting snow along the I-70 corridor.
Ooh, that does look cold. Thank you, Jason. At 5:32, justice for Jessica Ridgway. The judge in the case now suppressing information. Austin Sigg made his first court appearance yesterday, and the judge issued a gag order. And Lindsay Sablon is joining us now from the home in Westminster, where police found some pretty disturbing evidence. Lindsay, fill us in.
Anna, the Call 7 investigators have confirmed that police found the remains of a body inside the 17-year-old's home here. Few Westminster police still out here blocking the road right in front of his home. Meanwhile, Arvada police want to talk to Austin Sigg. Investigators say they've had 2 reports of 2 attempted abductions in September, one outside Fitzmorris Elementary, the other near Quaker Acres Park. In both cases, elementary-age girls say a man in a car offered them candy. Both those girls immediately ran away, giving police a description that led to this sketch. You can see lined up against Sigg's mugshot, there are similarities, but the car description in these cases does not match up, the one towed from Sigg's home on Wednesday.
The vehicle from both of our cases in September was kind of a royal blue sedan, and Sigg's car isn't even close to that.
Arvada police tell us it will be up to Sigg and his family if they do want to talk to them. They say they'll work with Westminster and Jefferson County's DA office to see if they can work these 2 cases together. Sigg is going to be in court next Tuesday. It's expected at that point that he will be formally charged. Live in Westminster, Lindsay Sablon, 7 News.
Now, Austin's father, Rob Sigg, releasing a statement yesterday sending his condolences to the Ridgway family and calling it a tragedy for everyone. He said, "We are devastated by the knowledge that my son Austin Sigg has been arrested and will be charged with the murder of their beautiful daughter, Jessica. I also ask for your prayers and support for Austin's mother, whose courageous act, unimaginably painful for any parent, has put this tragedy on the path to resolution." A local mother says this incident is a good reminder to all parents. They need to listen to their children when they have a funny feeling about someone.
I should have let her know that the moment she feels uncomfortable, that she should trust that, and that, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry.
When Emily Alexander's 11-year-old daughter said she knew who kidnapped Jessica, no one believed her. This mom says a teenage boy at the neighborhood park had been acting strangely, staring at her daughter and walking by their home. Well, it turns out that boy was Austin Sigg. The girl recognized his face when she saw him on TV Wednesday. Alexander says from now on, she will trust her daughter's instincts. 7 News with continuing coverage of Justice for Jessica. And right now on the DenverChannel.com, you will find a special section devoted to Jessica Ridgway, where you can learn about what we've uncovered about the suspect. You can also sign up for breaking news alerts, and we will send you updates on this case and others directly to your email or cell phone.
5:35, a news alert this morning. Just got some new information on this. At least 40 people now dead after a suicide bomber blows himself up outside a mosque in northern Afghanistan. This is kind of home video we're getting here to show you the scene afterward. The attack came as people were gathering there in the mosque. So again, 40 dead. We understand now 50 have been injured. The governor and the police chief of that particular province were inside this mosque when the bomber set off the explosives. Somehow they got out of there without being harmed at all. New this morning, a proposed truce was supposed to start this morning in Syria. We've talked about this all week. It's because of that 4-day Muslim holiday. But activists say heavy fighting has continued this morning. The Syrian regime accepted the truce but said it would respond to any rebel attacks. They did warn us of that, and sure enough, it's going on. The latest clash happened in the central province of Homs. 4 rebels were killed, 6 soldiers were wounded.
In Democracy 2012 this morning, the cast behind that movie, SEAL Team 6, the raid on Osama bin Laden, is now defending the timing of its release. The TV film comes out November 4th, so just 2 days before the election. And some conservatives accuse the makers of having a political agenda, even claiming the movie was recut to give President Obama a starring role. While the National Geographic Channel CEO David Lyle says the film was indeed recut, but to actually show less footage of the president than an earlier version of the film.
You know, we're only 11 days from the election. 11 days. I know you're probably thankful because you don't have to look at those commercials anymore. But right now, the math shows whoever wins Ohio, they're probably going to be the one that clinches the White House. This is the newest ABC Washington Post poll. They do one every morning now. This puts Romney overall in the lead 50% to 47% for the president. But President Obama is holding on to a slim advantage in the Buckeye State. So he was there last night targeting his opponent on the economy. And Romney, he's fighting back.
if Mitt Romney had been president when the auto industry was on the verge of collapse, we might not have an American auto industry today. The auto industry supports 1 in 8 Ohio jobs.
My priority is jobs, 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 and we're going to get them here in Ohio.
Yesterday, the president stopped in Chicago. He cast his vote there as things are winding down. The race is turning a little nasty. I don't know if you heard about this from the Rolling Stone. President Obama joked with the Rolling Stone magazine about children in the election, saying, quote, "Kids have good instincts. They look at the other guy and say, well, that's a BSer. I can tell," end quote.
President Obama will make one last stop here in Colorado before the election. He's coming to Colorado Springs next Tuesday. We should have more details in the coming days. We do know after that event in the Springs, the president will then move on to Wisconsin and Ohio once again. Are you tired of all those political robocalls? Well, you are not alone. The National Do Not Call Registry does not limit calls by political organizations, charities, or telephone surveys, but you can get them to stop by voting. After your ballot is scanned through, political parties are then notified when they request voter information.
Happening today, 3 men charged with killing 5 people at Pharaoh's Bar in Denver before setting it on fire. They're supposed to be in court today. Dexter Lewis and brothers Joseph and Linnell Hill, as you see all 3 here, are all charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder after what police say was a failed robbery. This comes a day after friends and family remembered one of those victims, Colleen Fallon. Dozens attended the funeral, as you can see here, at Calvary Temple in Denver yesterday. Along with Fallon, Pharaoh's Bar owner Young Pharaoh, Ross Richter, Daria Pohl, and Teresa Beasley. They were also killed in that bar.
Now listen to this, another really disturbing crime. A New York police officer is now being held without bail this morning for charges that even the judge calls profoundly disturbing. 28-year-old Gilberto Valle is accused of plotting to torture women and then cook and eat their body parts. Valle's defense is that it was just a fantasy, but prosecutors say they can prove he was about to carry out this plot. Now to a developing story in California. Authorities continue to question a person of interest in the deadly shooting at a family-owned business. This is near L.A. The man is one of 4 people taken into custody right now. Officers also recovered a stolen car used as the suspect's getaway vehicle, they say. 3 people died in the shootings. 2 others remain hospitalized with critical injuries.
It's 5:40 now, and this afternoon, former Senator George McGovern is going to be laid to rest. Funeral services will take place at the Washington Pavilion of Arts and Science. That's going to happen in Sioux Falls. Yesterday, friends and family, former colleagues, as you can see here, paid respects at a public viewing. This was also a prayer service. Vice President Joe Biden, in fact, attended that service. He served with McGovern in the Senate some years ago. McGovern died on Sunday at the age of 90.
7 News always investigating. We have new information on an investigation into Abound Solar. 7 News reporting the company received millions in stimulus money and then laid off employees. Well, now the Weld County DA is speaking out about this investigation.
The allegations that we are looking at include allegations that material misrepresentations and omissions were made to investors, the bank for the bridge loan, as well as consumers.
Abound Solar is accused of misleading investors, loan institutions, and consumers, even as company officials knew their products were defective. It's now 5:41, about 27 degrees. Here's Lisa.
And snow moving out of our area. Really, the I-25 corridor, pretty quiet right now. It's now moving out across the Eastern Plains toward Fort Morgan, Sterling, Burlington. In Denver, we're looking at, again, a little sunshine by this afternoon. Still cold, though, today. Clearing skies and a high of 38 by 3 o'clock.
Just watched a police officer head southbound on I-25 from 104th heading down towards the Thornton Parkway. Maybe an accident, something going on, but very slick conditions for our areas to the north.
Welcome back at 5:44 as we give you a live look at the roadways this morning. Traffic moving pretty smoothly in this picture. CDOT tells us things are worst up north, especially off Highway 287 north of Fort Collins and 85 north of Greeley. They tell us all available crews are out working the roads statewide this morning. Hopefully you won't have any problems.
Well, things looking up on Wall Street, but yesterday's improvement wasn't enough quite to erase those losses we saw earlier this week. You can see the Dow was up 26, the NASDAQ rose 4, the S&P also adding 4 yesterday. Today, we got more earnings coming out. Both Merck and Comcast just reporting they met or exceeded earnings per share forecast, so that's a little positive news there. But the futures markets right now, as we glance at the computer, all down just a little bit. Also happening today, and this is significant, this morning at 6:30 our time, Wall Street will get one of its biggest economic reports we really get all year long, and that's gross domestic product, the figures, and all this text you see in here from the government. This is the one we're watching. It's third quarter figures on the GDP. Again, this is East Coast time when it says 8:30, so it's actually 6:30 for us. This is the broadest measure we have of the economy. So far this year, growth is, well, it's slowed. This report has some more significance, certainly, because it comes a little more than a week before the presidential election. Third quarter GDP is expected to show, come 6:30, that the U.S. economy grew by about 1.9% between July and September. So it's likely to slowly show the economy is moving forward, but probably slower than most of us would like to see. New this morning, 1 in 4 Spaniards are now officially out of work. Spain says its unemployment rate rose around 0.4 percentage points. Doesn't sound like a lot, but the overall rate is now 25%. 85,000 more people file for unemployment just between July and September in Spain. So this morning, 5.78 million people just in Spain unemployed. This comes as Spain is under pressure, as you know, to ask for outside help to help with all its economic problems. The country is in its second recession in 3 years.
I have something that will cheer everybody up. New this morning, we could soon see some relief at the grocery store finally. A big peanut harvest is expected to lower prices on peanut butter and other products, as U.S. farmers expect to bring in 2/3 more peanuts this year than they did last year. So the result, peanut butter prices could fall 10% or more.
Yes. That puts a smile on my face, but seeing Mitch run behind you is even funnier to me.
I was in a hurry. I had to get all the way across the studio.
Hence the reason I think I mispronounced peanut butter at one point there.
You're agile. You could have just hopped right over the desk.
I should just run in front of the camera.
You had extra energy because it's Friday, right?
Yes.
Amen, right?
Well, the temperatures are keeping us moving, huh?
Yeah, it's cold out there. We have temperatures right now in the 30s, wind chills in the teens. We've got a couple of single digits up in the mountains. So, yeah, it's cold to start the day. Right now, though, looking at clearing skies. Here's what it looked like at 5:30 last night. That was just as the snow started to get going, and as it moved through Denver, we saw about a ½ inch to an inch in the metro area. Now it's all pushing east of I-25. Fort Morgan right now getting hit. Lyman looking at snow at this point. Greeley, Fort Collins, and Denver all getting some clearing conditions. Might get a few flurries for your morning drive, but our main band of snow now moving well to the east of I-25, and it's going to be pretty quiet to start the day. Winds picking up a touch in spots. Most of our cameras, like this one here in Highlands Ranch, showing just a wet road. Most of our snow from overnight on rooftops and on grass. But beautiful to start the day. You've got a lot of fresh snow in the trees this morning. Current wind chills, again, in the teens. Denver right now, it feels like 15. Greeley, 27. Fort Collins, 25. Leadville, a wind chill of 6 degrees below zero. It's 28 in Boulder, 28 in Longmont, 27 in Denver, and 26 in Parker. It's cold this morning, but it's actually going to be colder tomorrow morning. Our highs today only in the upper 30s and low 40s. So even with some clearing skies, we're still going to see numbers well below normal. We should be closer to the 60-degree mark rather than the 40-degree mark. We'll get back to near normal come this weekend, but today you've got 30s and 40s. Oh, well, Mitch won't. 30s and 40s across the eastern plains and in the mountains, the same thing. Now, by tomorrow, we're in the low 50s. More sunshine both Saturday and Sunday. Our Coats for Colorado drive tomorrow will be at Flatirons, collecting coats from 10 to 2. We'll get to that in just a second. Sunday, we're at 60, warmer. Again, it's going to get warmer through the beginning of next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 60s and 70s. Beautiful. Halloween so far shaping up to be really a gorgeous day. Wednesday, 70, sunshine. So by the time you guys head out the door, you're probably looking at low 60s. Again, our Coats for Colorado drive this Saturday from 10 to 2. I'll be out there. I think most of us are going to be out there helping to collect your coats. We love meeting our viewers. It's nice to see. And really, we could... Come on, Mitch, give us another walk by, will you?
Should I run by again?
Oh,
it didn't work.
They didn't work. It didn't work, no. But we'd love to see you, so come by tomorrow.
All right. We have, unfortunately, a couple of problems here on the roadways. It is very slick, and we've had some pretty big accidents because a lot of people are going faster today, I think, than they were yesterday. And so we have an accident northbound I-25 right by 38th. We've actually had another one on the ramps at I-70 and also on Sheridan I-76. Now, this is a picture from that area. This is northbound 25, and right back up in here, right before that 38th Avenue I-70 split, that's where the crash is. Left side of the highway is blocked, and that's why we're backed up all the way back to approaching 20th for you here this morning. There goes Random Mitch. Out there to the eastern plains, look at I-70 Genoa, Stratton, and out there by the Seabird area. So the eastern plains are getting hammered right now. South side looking okay, but again, we're going to see those bridges, ramps, and overpasses very slick, and that's one of those areas, that northbound side of I-25 across downtown, that's pretty prone to accidents.
Indeed. Thank you, Jason. So we've got Jason. We have multiple crews out on the roadways helping you get through this morning commute. Let's go to 7 News reporter Eric Lufer out and about for the second day in a row, checking on road conditions in Storm Tracker 7. So, Eric, tell us where you are and what you are seeing.
Good morning, Anna. I just got off of the Longmont exit. The highway is looking okay, even as far north as Longmont, just wet roads. And I just got off the highway here, and we're dealing with wet roads here as we head into Longmont as well. The CDOT trucks are out. They're in full force. I've been in contact with CDOT all morning. But again, the further north, the worse it gets, I'm being told, because a lot of heavy snow was north here on I-25. I'll keep you up to date, but right now, traffic running smoothly in both directions on the highway. Back to you.
Very good. Thank you. All right, it's 5:51 now. Right now, we got a live picture in Florida where they're already feeling the effects of Hurricane Sandy as it heads toward the East Coast. It's brushing along the eastern seaboard there. Experts now saying the storm could cost the U.S. $1 billion. We'll be right back. 5:53, and right now, Nelson Hall, the University of Denver campus, it's being evacuated. The students there woke up by those carbon monoxide detectors. This happened a few hours ago. Firefighters did find an elevated level of carbon monoxide when they got there. They're now looking for the source. You can see them all on scene here. This is the second time alarms have gone off there. Again, this is Nelson Hall, DU campus. Second time they've gone off in a week. Now, a news alert for you this morning. An executive for ExxonMobil is gunned down right in front of his wife in Brussels. His name is Nicholas Mockford, a British national, was shot as he was leaving an Italian restaurant with his wife. This happened back on October 14th. So we're just now learning about this because Belgian authorities apparently imposed a news blackout there, and so they weren't reporting it there or anyplace else in the world. So this morning, there's a spokesperson for ExxonMobil who says the company is shocked over this very tragic death. And so why did this happen? Right now, they have no motive. Let's check in with Dale. She's got a look at our neighborhood forecast.
And we're live up here in Westminster right now, but for our neighborhood forecast this time, we're going to head down south. We're going to go to Centennial. That's where things are very cold this morning. Let's go ahead and take a look at how you can plan out your day. We're going to see temperatures well below freezing starting off this morning, and we're really going to warm to just about slightly above freezing by lunchtime, and that's really where we're going to stay. The biggest difference, though, today that you're going to notice is the few flurries that we're still seeing this morning. They're going to be gone, and we're actually going to get to see a little bit of sunshine, which will feel pretty nice for most of us throughout the day. This is the system that pushed through last night, dropping just a little bit of that snow. Didn't bring much to the Centennial area, but maybe just an extra inch or so as it pushed right on through. Again, it is now off to the east, so most of us in the metro area are just waking up and driving out on some wet roads. For the rest of our forecast, let's head back inside to Lisa.
It's definitely cold, though, that's for sure. We have wind chills this morning, Dale, in the teens and 20s. By this afternoon, you're going to find highs in the 30s. Not a big warm-up today. Denver 38, Thornton 41, Erie 41, and in Brighton 40 degrees. So chilly today, warmer tomorrow. We're going to find Saturday and Sunday 50s, maybe even 60. We're putting a 60 on Sunday. Mostly sunny skies tomorrow, a few clouds on Sunday. Then the bigger warm-up occurs early next week. Perfect weather for Halloween. Jason, we've got 70 and sunshine on Wednesday.
Not so perfect for the drive, though. On northbound I-25, the headlights, look how there's just one car heading north. There's a big accident right by 38th before the I-70 split, and that's causing a big-time traffic jam across downtown Denver, unfortunately. And ramps like this at I-76 and 270 are extremely slick, a lot of black ice, especially bridges, ramps, overpasses.
Well, you may have noticed yawns seem to be contagious. Well, now new research shows you may even be passing your yawn onto your dog. You can see the Swedish scientists at work here proving that man's best friend mirrors your yawn. And not because he's tired, but because he's showing empathy.
Not just yawned, but they also took on the emotion that yawning usually signifies, which is usually sleepiness and tiredness.
Oh, well, it's not just with dogs. Yawning is also contagious between humans and chimpanzees, baboons, and parakeets. But not between us and tortoises. Yes, someone actually looked into that. Oh, and cats. Well, they could care less if you're tired. Of course, right? In our next hour this morning, Jessica Ridgway's accused killer now wanted for questioning in 2 other attempted abduction cases.
We're live outside of Sig's neighborhood where police are still out here. We'll let you know what's going on.
Also this morning, freezing cold temperatures, a little bit of snow, making for a slow commute. We're on the roads live for you to help you pick your path. When 7 News at 6 continues.